Hello everyone, I am Alyan and I am back again with another interview. And my today guest name is Miss Linda. So she is a CEO and a TEDx speaker, a six-time best-selling author, a TV producer, and the founder of LeadHERship Global. So welcome, Miss, and how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you so much for coming. So before moving on our question, so can you tell us about yourself? What is Linda Fisk in your own words?
Yes, absolutely. I have the privilege and honor of serving as the chairwoman of an organization called LeadHERship Global. At LeadHERship Global, we transform women in leadership from the inside out, not with formulas, but with frameworks, not with hustle, but with alignment, because the world doesn't need more busy women. It needs more values driven leaders that are recognized and that are remembered. So we're here to help women in leadership become just that. They lead with intention and they leave a legacy. So we don't just promise access, we promise transformation. At LeadHERship Global, every single aspect of membership is designed to elevate the leadership, the visibility, and the business success of women in positions of leadership all over the world.
That's really amazing. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. So yes, you grew up and now you lead a global community of women from Dallas. What's the moment that changed your career path?
I would say that being in a community of leaders and two separate jobs that I had made me recognize the incredible importance of leaders coming together in unity to overcome a challenge, an obstacle, a roadblock. And when you are able to access the incredible gifts and talents, experience, and expertise of leaders that are all uniquely focused on overcoming a challenge or roadblock or some sort of really unique obstacle that is standing in the way of progress, it's absolutely transformational. It's so dynamic. And so I wanted to create a organization for women in positions of leadership all over the world. And what we've been able to develop is not just another network. LeadHERship Global is a trusted circle of women leaders, founders, executives, entrepreneurs, visionaries who believe that success is more than status and leadership is truly about impact. So here you'll find the kind of high caliber relationships, the kind of expert insights and personalized support that you need to elevate every single dimension of your leadership journey. And really what created LeadHERship Global was the realization, sort of the epiphany that I had of how important it is to be surrounded by other leaders who will lift you up, who will encourage you, and who will deeply invest in your success to help you overcome any obstacle or roadblock that you could be facing in your life.
That's great. Thank you so much. This wonderful answer. So you have a PhD in clinical psychology. How did you go from studying the human mind to becoming a CEO and leadership expert?
Yeah, actually, having a PhD in clinical psychology was very helpful to me because having a PhD in clinical psychology helped me learn about how people communicate, how people are motivated, how people make decisions. And I got to tell you, it really opened up my understanding that any kind of growth, professional or personal, is not based on a single transaction. It's about being able to blend mastery of personal well-being, spiritual alignment, legacy building, creating a space for growth both professionally, personally, and purposefully. So through that education that I received, receiving a doctorate, a PhD in clinical psychology, I realized that women particularly really need customized support. And they need support through, it could be executive coaching, confidential advisory groups, could be targeted introductions, board presentation and preparation, personal brand amplification. It could be a lot of different things, but women need to be surrounded by a community of other people that will validate who they are, they will support where they're going, and they will give them honest feedback to help them grow and scale along the way. So, in LeadHERship Global, we don't believe in waiting lists, closed doors, or even narrow definitions of success. Our members reflect very diverse industries, backgrounds, stages of leadership, from corporate executives to entrepreneurs, board members, and nonprofit founders. And what we know is that unlike mass market communities, we are intentionally designed to foster deep, trusted relationships with a highly curated circle of accomplished women leaders. And in my pursuit of a PhD, I recognize that really that is what people are striving for: trusted relationships with other people where they feel seen and heard, and they feel like they have a sense of belonging, and they have a sense of people surrounding them, investing in their success, supporting them, cheering them on, and again, giving them real, honest, objective feedback when they need that.
Thank you so much for this answer, Miss. So you founded LeadHERship Global. What problem did you see in the world that made you say, I have to build this myself?
Yeah. I would say that women particularly face cultural, socioeconomic, political, and even financial barriers that most men do not. Most men do not face the kind of barriers that women do all over the world. In some places in the world, women don't have equal access to education. In other parts of the world, women still can't vote. They can't have a bank account. Sometimes they can't drive. Women often are stripped of the right to have jurisdiction over their own body, to choose their mate, to be able to decide about their own reproduction. They are stripped of the opportunity to pursue education and higher education. They are kept out of decision-making roles. They are not allowed to hold a job. They're not allowed to have a bank account. They can't have a credit card. In fact, it was in the United States, it was only about 20 years ago that women could apply for a loan without having to have her husband co-sign the loan with her. So in a lot of ways, I feel like women face a lot of obstacles and roadblocks that are not typical for men. So what we wanted to do is create an opportunity where women of extraordinary accomplishment can come together for growth that transcends titles. It's a private, curated community committed to purpose, profit, and personal legacy, because we know that women are oftentimes disproportionately kept from some of the privileges, benefits, and opportunities that men take for granted. So, for instance, women only receive 2% of all venture capital funding around the world. Literally, less than 2% of venture capital funding goes to women. There are less than 10% of women that occupy board roles. So if you want to be serving as a board of director, literally less than 10% of those roles are ever given to women. Women have less than 10% of all speaking roles on stages and less than 5% of all media interview opportunities. So there are a lot of places where women still are not seen and heard in the same way that men are. So we wanted to give women access to the same sort of privileges, benefits, and opportunities that men have routinely.
All right. Thanks so much for your answer. So many networking group already exist for women. What makes LeadHERship Global different from the others?
Yeah, I'd say two things. One, we just don't promise access to a membership organization. We promise transformation. At LeadHERship Global, literally every single aspect of our membership is designed to elevate your leadership, expand your visibility, accelerate your business success, and ensure that you never lead alone. Leadership can be a very, very lonely place, but we really want to ensure that women feel supported, they feel connected, and we want to be sure that every single member receives customized support that's aligned to her vision. And as I said, that could include executive coaching, confidential advisory groups. It could be targeted introductions, could be board preparation. But however someone defines success, we want to give them access to the privileges, the benefits, and the opportunities that they have available to them. So with members across every single industry and geography, we offer immersive virtual experiences that create global relationships with a level of personal intimacy, so every single woman feels seen and heard.
Okay, thanks so much for this answer. So you once said traditional networking can feel like a boys' club. Can you share a story from your own career when you felt that door was closed to you?
Well, I would say that most networking organizations are mixed gender at this point, right? But in those mixed gender networking opportunities, women can still feel dismissed, demeaned. They can feel sidelined. They can feel as though they're fighting to be seen, to be heard, to not be kind of walked over or disregarded. And so we have created a environment where women can expand their visibility, they can deepen their credibility, and we open up new doors for growth. And through LeadHERship Global, women can be connected to the people, the platforms, and the playbooks that will accelerate their leadership journey. They'll stop navigating alone. We actually match women in leadership with a circle, a coach, and a roadmap to support you every single step of the way. So in this kind of environment versus the mixed gender networking that you often see, women are not just seen, they're spotlighted. We don't just recognize the brilliance of women around us. We help the world see their brilliance as well. And so again, I feel like oftentimes in mixed networking, leadership groups or communities or networking events, men tend to be very dominant. They tend to be very assertive, and they absolutely have no problem shining the spotlight on them and their successes and accomplishments. But for women, we want them to walk away with more confidence, more clarity, and with a community that actually delivers on its promises and commitments.
Thanks so much for this answer. So in simple words, what is the biggest mindset block that hold women back from leading boldly?
Oh, that's such a great question. I would say, really, women struggle generally with the same level of confidence that men have. Women often rate themselves more poorly on issues of confidence, whether it's how well they predict they'll do in an athletic event, or whether or not they feel qualified to apply for a new job, or whether or not they feel like they are going to score well on a test. Women tend to rate themselves much more modestly, much more moderately than men do. And so in general, I would say the mindset block that holds women back is a sense of incompetence. It's almost imposter syndrome. I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve to be successful. I don't deserve the spotlight. I haven't earned it. I'm not as good as someone else I know. But really, women need to recognize that they are deserving of visibility, to be seen, to be heard, and to be able to have a vision and a sense of creativity that is respected, admired, and honored. So in my mind, women really need to find experienced advisors who understand the unique challenges that they may be facing, and then really invest in their own growth to grow their personal brand and grow as a leader in their industry, despite the fact that they may feel unworthy. My sense is the more that women are able to boost self-confidence and overcome self-doubt, the more that they're able to really take a step forward in shaping the kind of future that they want for themselves. And at LeadHERship Global, members are focused on silencing their inner critic and stepping into their next level of leadership with courage, clarity, and conviction. This theme of, again, boosting confidence and overcoming self-doubt is so important. And it reflects really kind of a strong desire for members to refine their goals, to align their values, to develop a focused vision that drives strategic growth and impact. And they need to recognize that they are worthy and they are capable and they are definitely positioned to be able to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer. So you talked about women needing to show up, speak up, and step up. Which one of these three is the hardest for women, and why?
Showing up, speaking up, or stepping up. I think there are a lot of women that show up, that actually show up to do the work, to learn, to grow, to expand, to advance. I think where women often get stuck is this idea of speaking up, stepping up, and building a personal brand that is magnetic, that is aligned, that is deeply reflective of that woman's core message and unique value. I think that many women hesitate in raising their personal profile and their business profile through media exposure, through thought leadership, through high impact storytelling. And I feel like, again, that goes to this idea of, confidence. I think that women deserve to work on strengthening their leadership presence, their confidence, and their influence, both in the boardroom and beyond. And that's where I feel like women need support and help and sort of a pathway forward to build their authority, to build the systems and the pipelines that help them recognize their brilliance. So that's what I think really women struggle with the most, is being able to boost their confidence, overcome self-doubt, and really speak up and step up with a sense of boldness and clarity into the next phase of their development of their life.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer. So many women feel they must check every box before applying for a big role. What advice do you give to a woman who feels shy, is not ready yet?
Yeah. We've been talking quite a bit, Alyan, about this idea of imposter syndrome, boosting confidence, overcoming self-doubt. And I think that's really what this is about, right? And I think that, again, if you give yourself permission to test some of the limiting beliefs that you may be facing, I'm not good with math. I'm not a good communicator. I don't have enough strategy experience. I wouldn't know how to begin that project. I don't think I'm a trusted authority in this subject. Whatever it is that you're concerned about, all those negative loops that you're telling yourself about how you are not competent, you are not confident in being able to take that next step. What I would say is try. Just test that theory. Test the theory that you may or may not be able to develop a strategy, step on a stage, move a business forward. Just test it out. What you'll find is that you are successful much more often than you're not. And I want everyone to start not only experimenting with those things that they think they're not good at, they think they can't do, experiment. And every time you succeed, I want you to really deeply understand that that was a false belief that you had about yourself. And simply by testing that false belief, you're able to overcome that. And I would also say that being in a community of other leaders that are lifting you up, they're cheering you on, that are giving giving you confidence is just so important. It's so important to build authentic relationships with other powerful women who understand the challenges you're facing, and they share with you the joy of triumph over failure, right? The triumphs of leadership, those times where you're able to make a difference and create an impact and move the ball down the field. All of those things, you want people around you that are going to cheer you on. They're going to recognize your wins and celebrate those with you. So that's what I would say.
That's great. Thank you so much for this advice. So, what is one piece of leadership advice you got earlier in your career that you think is completely wrong?
Yeah, when I was young, there was a general feeling or belief that in order to be successful, you needed to be really strong, and you couldn't have personal relationships like warm, affiliative friendships with the people that reported to you, that you needed to keep professional distance from the people that reported to you and the people you worked with. As you began to climb the corporate ladder, and you started accumulating titles like vice president, senior vice president, executive vice president, what that meant was that you need to distance yourself from the people you work with and the people that work for you. And I bought into that in the early stages of my career. I climbed the corporate ladder very, very quickly. I was usually the youngest or the first woman or the only woman in many of the roles that I held. And especially when I was one of the youngest vice presidents, senior vice presidents, executive vice presidents in my role and in my career, what I heard from those that were mentoring me and coaching me along the way is, Linda, you can't be so friendly with the people that are reporting to you. You've got to create professional distance. You can't create personal relationships with the people you work with. Again, you've got to remain distant from them. And what I found out is, in fact, that's 100% wrong. That, in fact, when people know you care about them and you care about their success, they're going to work even harder. They're going to be even more dedicated. They're going to be even more diligent to meet their goals because they care about you. They care about the relationship. They care about the outcome because, honestly, for most people, the relationship with their boss, their relationship with their coworkers, their relationship with their staff matters more than being able to meet a deadline or a milestone or achievement or an accomplishment. The relationship is what motivates people to do an extraordinary job, not letting down their team, being able to succeed for their team, being able to lift up their team. That's what they care about. So what I have learned is that actually everything, personal and business, is personal. There's nothing in business that's not personal. It is where you spend the majority of your time every single day. Those relationships at work deeply matter. And being able to see someone wholly and fully as a human being first actually really matters. Not only will they be able to do their very best work, but you will know intimately what motivates them, what makes them incredibly happy, what drives them, what brings them joy, how you can reward them in a way that will really be meaningful to them. So that was some early advice I received that I think is actually completely wrong.
Okay, thanks so much for your answer. So, Miss, my last question is: how can our listener connect with you, join LeadHERship Global, and continue this conversation after the show?
Alyan, thank you so much for such a gracious question. They can definitely reach out to me through LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. It's Linda Fisk or LeadHERship Global, either of those accounts. I'll be very responsive. You can also reach out to me through email, and that's super easy. It's Linda@LeadHERshipGlobal.com. So LeadHERshipGlobal.com. So if you want to reach out to me, I am more than happy to connect, or you're welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn. If I am active in any social media platform, it's usually LinkedIn. So very happy to connect with anyone who wants to talk further or wants advice about how to grow your career, how to leave a legacy, how to really become a dynamic leader that is considered to be really a global influencer, if that's your goal, you want to be a global influencer, a respected leader, you want to create impact, you want to advance your definition of success, whatever that is, I would love to have a conversation with you. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Miss, for your wonderful time and for this amazing conversation. Thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, and your beautiful energy today. I'm very thankful to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alyan. It was absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.